Welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of the Flowscape podcast. I am Sawyer Stinchfield, and with me today is Spencer. I cannot figure out how to use headphones. Brown, we have spent the last literally 35 minutes trying to figure out audio for Spencer. It's still not the best, but we are going to give it a go. I feel like dog shit, so the one episode I was going to need Spencer to kind of back me up and really take the reins on. He sucks and he can't do it. I'm very rattled about this. But yeah, so Spencer, how are you doing?
I've taken a deep breath. I'm much better now. I don't hear myself and I'm not delayed. So we are good to go. Everything's good. We've got our golf courses booked for our trip now. So you know what? I'm feeling good over here.
Yeah, it's just going to sound like a 1986 phone interview with Al Iafrady, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll get through it. Yeah, I'm on the hot seat. I woke up. It was actually Tuesday evening. I was eating Chinese food, and right after I finished my lemon chicken, and then all of a sudden, after I got done with my lemon chicken, I got a throat ache. And I thought it was something that the Chinese place did to me. And then I woke up the next morning and it was still hurting. So I realized I was probably getting sick. Tried to make it through work. Made it about a half day and said, fuck this. Went home, took some Dayquil, did the old NyQuil thing. Woke up this morning, was 10 times fucking worse. So then I made an appointment to see Dr. Wynn. Again, I did not use an accent when I went to the doctor's office either. That would have been bad too. So didn't do that either. And shout out to Dr. Bartel. Yeah, shout out to Dr. Bartel though. Chad, you weren't there for me. You weren't there for me the other day when I needed an X-ray on my elbow. I called again today to make an appointment with you. Dr. Bartel's not available. Not even not available. Dr. Bartel's not even in today. Not even in today. What the fuck are you doing, Chad? What the fuck are you doing? Listen, I don't ask for much throughout the year, okay? But on the odd prostate exam and, just a little bit of comfort and care or whatever, I've got a cold, and you weren't there for me. So figure your shit out, Chad. But Dr. Wynn was very nice. She got me some steroids. I'm feeling a little better. Going to try to power through this pod. But yeah, I'm on the hot seat as we've got a big golf tournament coming up next weekend, trip tournament next weekend, the Flowskate Open in Orlando. Our courses are booked. You've got to book one more, you said, right? One more is yet to be booked.
Yeah, they won't let me book until 7 days prior, and we're like 10 days prior, so I haven't quite been able to get that one yet.
Okay, so let's go over this for everybody. So we fly into Orlando Friday. We get our Airbnb. Eagle Creek, Saturday morning, 10:45 a.m. Do you know anything about this course? I know nothing. I've Googled it. That's it.
It's in
looks
Florida.
nice.
I've done some of the whole flyovers. Looks nice. Yeah, looks good. Looks like a nice little track. It's highly rated, highly recommended, and probably highly ball snatching.
Yeah, I would like to. That's gonna be. Listen, Saturday morning. That's like a 9:15 a.m. show up time at the course. I need to hit, I need to chip, I need to putt, I need to find maybe a nice little practice area with some bunkers. We need to really dial it in Saturday morning. No showing up to the course 15. That's not going to be good for anybody showing up to fucking Eagle Creek 15 minutes before tee time.
No, that's like a great morning.
Got to get there early for that.
Little warm up time.
Yeah. Are we going to Pop Stroke that night? Saturday night?
Yep, Saturday night. We're going to hit that Tiger Woods little putt place and see what it's all about.
Which I heard is an absolute blast. I've heard Pop Stroke is a lot of fucking fun. So we're doing that Saturday night. Then quick turnaround Sunday morning, Stonegate, 9:40 a.m. Listen, between Eagle Creek and Stonegate, if I have any balls left, we'll be looking just fine.
Yeah, the Cypress course, I think, is a little wet. I think there could be some gators, maybe a little Chubbs moment where somebody loses a hand, but we'll see. I think it'll be a good time.
I've seen one gator on a golf course that was with Christopher Peterson Mason himself in Houston. I I believe that was the day he took me to the course where the greens were like glass. It didn't matter if you hit your ball, stuck your ball. It was, they were going anywhere and everywhere. But there was Gator. That was kind of cool. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Now we're playing night golf Sunday night, Orange Lake. It's 9 holes, correct? It's a 9-hole course.
Yeah, little 9-hole walk in action. I'm so excited.
Is it 9 holes? Like, is it 9 holes all par 3, or is it 9 holes like there's a par 4, there's a par 5? What is it?
I think it's a full course. They only lit up 9.
9. Okay. Man, I guess here's the thing about that though. It's got to be an open course, or there's got to be rules. Like if you're not looking for your ball at night golf. Like there's no go find my ball in night golf.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. And then we're gonna hoping to book Dubs Dread for Monday morning, and then Monday evening and night we will feel like very, very old pieces of shit. And then we will return to our normal lives on Tuesday. So that is the Flow Skate Open. Mason will be joining us for a couple of those rounds, right?
We're hoping he should be with us Sunday and Monday. Sunday and Monday. He's going to miss Saturday and Sunday night.
Okay, he's going to miss night golf?
Yeah, because he has a concert.
What a loser. Who books a concert? What a loser. What a fucking loser. All right, Max fine for Mason for that. But there's our trip. There it is. You know who's not going on any trips? Well, you know, before we get into that, this podcast is brought to you by Phoenix Fit, FNX Fit. Use code FlowSkate for 15% off all of your Phoenix Fit products, protein, creatine, glutamine, vitamins, everything you can fucking think of, apparel, everything. Code FlowSkate gets you 15% off. Spencer, you got a few guys that are jacked up on Phoenix Fit products, though?
I got a whole bunch. Yeah, we got a couple guys, couple teams that are just absolutely feeling it. I'm going to start off with Mr. Quinn Hughes, who's leading the NHL in points. He's got 26 points in 16 games, and he's a plus 18. Like that, this dude is feeling himself.
That's a lot of guacamole.
And then, you know, I think we got Sidney Crosby. Maybe took a shot of the FNX right before his little hat-trick game here the other night. And, I mean, right to cap it off, we got Pittsburgh and Florida on a 5-game win streak coming in hot. So they are all jacked up on FNX right now.
Yeah, I saw Florida play Sunday afternoon. We're going back to Florida. I was basically I wasn't near Orlando. I was in Fort Lauderdale. It's all the same.
Yeah,
it's all the same. But I was in Fort Lauderdale, so we went to the Cats game Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. I love 1 p.m. Sunday start NHL times. It's the fucking best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, nice. I mean, maybe not from a TV perspective, because people are like out and about doing stuff on a Sunday. Most normal people are probably at home. But going to an arena at Sunday at 1 p.m., like little day drinking, you know what I mean? It was a good time. They also played the Connor Bedard show, which watching that motherfucker play hockey live is insane. He's so good. He's so fucking good.
You want to talk about somebody who is like living up to the hype and all sorts of that. He has been nice, playing real nice right now.
Those 2 goals he scored against Florida, they ended up getting in. I did your boy. I texted the boys pictures. I got to ride the fan, the fan Zamboni, the cat that goes wow wow. Yeah, Spencer. Every time this guy would press a button, it would go and it would like make this like really loud growling sound.
He did not give you the button, thank God.
Yeah, the flow skate was on the fan zone, the fan bony. So that was a good time. But yeah, watching Connor Bedard and just going to an arena at 1 o'clock, getting motherfuckers. That arena is so expensive. Amerit Bank Center is so expensive. So expensive.
That's
so
the same one we went to, right?
We walk in first thing. Yeah, I threw up on the stairs outside of that arena. We'll never forget that. But that's besides the point. But upon entry, immediately 2 beers, right? So I go to Funky Buddha, good brewery. They have a big bar there, big brewery like bar there. So get 2 beers. $39. $39 for 2 fucking beers. I was like, at first I thought that it was like the guy in front of me's tab, and like the guy hadn't like switched over the computer yet. So I asked the dumb question, like, "Is it ready?" He's like, "Oh yeah, put your card in." I'm like, "Oh fuck, so this is mine." So obviously tip later, $42 later for 2 fucking beers. So then we get up between intermission. Oh, this is the worst part. We get up before intermission because obviously I was coaching my select team. We had a tournament, so we had a championship game at 10 a.m. Then went right to the Cats game. So I didn't get to eat in between. Like had to go park, all that stuff. Just went straight from the Panthers Ice Den, where we played our last college game against Florida Gulf Coast. So went straight from there to the rink, and obviously in between intermission, wanted some food, hadn't eaten. Went and got 2 ordering for me and another person, 2 chicken strip dinners. Okay, just 2 chicken strip dinners with a Diet Coke, a bottle of water. So that's 2 chicken strip dinners and 2 drinks, right? One drink for each dinner. 2 more beers. $82. 82 fucking dollars for 2 chicken strip dinners, a Diet Coke, a bottle of water, and 2 more beers. So that's just within much. Within an hour of being in the stadium, I've spent just on food and liquid $150 just right out of the fucking gate. Not to mention the hat that's on top of my head, because I figured out I like the idea of getting beanies from the stadiums I visit, because I got the one from Mullet, and I saw this one. This one's pretty cool, so I was like, all right, maybe I'll do the beanie thing. But anyways, besides the point, $150 on just food and liquid at a Merit Bank Arena, and within an hour. So a Merit Bank Arena, I'm calling you out on your fucking prices of beer and fucking food, because it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I mean, worth it to go to the Cats game, worth it to see Bedard live, all that stuff. But it's just, and it was fun, but it's just, when you're a kid, you don't think about it. As an adult, it doesn't matter how much money you have. When something that should be so cheap is so expensive, it grinds my fucking gears every single time.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Every time. So let's just get right into it. The fucking Edmonton Oilers. This is pretty much the main reason we decided to do a podcast, issues and all that shit. The main issue is we have to stay relevant with the Oilers itself, because they're a fucking shit show. They're a dumpster fire. It doesn't get any worse than the Oilers right now. So they were already on the hot seat. Woodcroft was already on the hot seat. They go into San Jose. They go into San Jose, who is the worst team in the NHL by far, and they fucking lose. Woodcroft, I don't know if you saw this. Woodcroft can be kind of seen. All the lip reader experts out there could be kind of seen. He's looking at Dave Mansing saying, "Well, that could be it," or something like that under his breath, or something after the game. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But they have fired head coach Jay Woodcroft, assistant coach Dave Manson along with them, and they have replaced him with Hartford Wolfpack head coach, AHL head coach Chris Knobloch. The Oilers are currently 4-9-1. They are the second worst NHL team, and this is McDavid's 5th NHL head coach. They are fucked. Spencer, let's get your full take on the Edmonton situation right now.
They've got to get goaltending. They've got to get it figured out from the back end forward, because they have 3 players that are in the plus right now. Everybody else is a minus on their team. So they've got to get some goaltending. They've got to get some defense. They've got to figure it out from the back end, because we know they can score. Connor McDavid will wake up. Draisaitl will get his goals. But if they can't stop the puck, they're doomed. And they've got, 5 games to figure this out, or they're on the outside looking in. And you've got guys such as, Draisaitl and Connor that are looking at these contracts saying, I'm not coming back. I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Yeah, it's very, very bad. So here's the biggest thing is, what people don't realize, or people forget, is maybe not Oilers fans, but other people, that team is so tied up within each other. Meaning Chris Knobloch coached Connor McDavid for 3 years with the Erie Otters. Okay, so he was Connor McDavid's junior coach. So he oversaw his development in the OHL. He oversaw Connor McDavid while Connor McDavid was coming up and turning into Connor McDavid and having to produce these insane numbers in order to be the Connor McDavid everybody thought he was going to be since he was a little kid, right? So he oversaw his development. So we know he knows Connor McDavid. The hard part about that is when you're hired, you know him. You guys are very, very close to each other. And Connor McDavid, his first interview after learning that his head coach was fired and hired somebody he knows very well, said, I don't understand why he was fired. It's not on him. It's on us. So he's very clear in the fact that it was the players, and he doesn't think that his head coach deserved to get fired, even though the guy they hired is somebody he's. So there's that little ripple. Okay, the other thing is Ken Holland is Connor McDavid's former agent. The only reason he's not his agent anymore is because he's the fucking GM of the Oilers, and that's an extreme conflict of interest, however you want to fucking say it, right? He's got to be gone after this season. He's got to be gone after the season because he has done absolutely nothing to. He has put Band-Aids over problems. He has not fucking fixed any bleeding. He's just put a Band-Aid over it and then hopefully the scab just heals on its own and goes away. No medication, no nothing. So these are some Ken Holland moves since 2019. Okay, the first fuck up was in 2019 was James Neal. Okay, he gave James Neal he traded for James Neal and ended up giving John Marino to Pittsburgh for a 6th-round pick. John Marino's a very good defenseman for Pittsburgh. Who John Marino could be a very good defenseman for Edmonton right now had they just held on to him.
Yeah.
Who James Neal turned out after his stint with Pittsburgh and Dallas, James Neal wasn't James Neal for anybody. Okay?
No.
2020, he gave up a 2nd-round pick and a package for Andreas Antiensu. However you want to say that guy's name. He's not there anymore either. Okay? Or is he? No. He's somewhere. Yeah, he's with he's been with like 5 different teams now too, right? So you think about that 2nd-round draft pick.
Detroit, maybe?
Think about some 2nd-round draft picks. Rupe Hintz and Jason Robertson are both 2nd-round draft picks. So he gave one of those up for that. 2021, he signs Duncan Keith to $6 million bananas a year. $6 million bananas a year for Duncan Keith in 2022 or 2021 at the end, literally the tail end of Duncan Keith's career. When people were considering buying Duncan Keith out, Ken Holland was giving them 6 bananas a year. All right. 2022. Okay, that ended the Zach Kassian experience. So Zach Kassian was also on a very, very overly high, overly paid contract. I can't think right now. I just feel like shit. He was incredibly overpaid. So 2022, that finally got that off the books. 2023 finally got over the Jesse Puljujarvi experiment. Jesse Puljujarvi fucking sucked. He was never good. He was overpaid for what they had to give him. He was never in the lineup. When he was in the lineup, he never played fucking defense. He was a fucking bust from day one. So they finally got out of that. 2023, they got rid of Kyle Yamamoto to Detroit for future considerations. Well, Detroit's looking really, really fucking good, and Kyle Yamamoto's pretty good fucking player, and all you got was shit for it. So there's no possible way, and you tell me if I'm wrong here in just a second, they have to fire Ken Holland after this year, if not before that, correct?
Well, so they're not going to fire him, but because his contract's up at the end of the year. So I think they'll come out pretty quickly and say that they're not renewing it and that he's done. Because he hasn't.
They mutually agree to part ways.
Whatever they need to say that nowadays. But yeah, he's not going to get a new contract. He's done there. He hasn't made good moves. He loves throwing out 5x5 deals to guys that don't deserve it. So, well, I think that's happy trails to him. But he's got to make some moves before he leaves to get this team and maybe his career back on track. Because I think he's out of Edmonton, but he's got to try and fix his name to go someplace else.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. People talk about players in contract years all the time, especially in football, but definitely in hockey too. Guys in contract years trying to get paid. Well, Ken Holland, this is your contract year, meaning you are not going to be the GM of Edmonton come summertime. Whenever your season ends, 48 hours after that, it will come out that you have mutually agreed to part ways as the Edmonton Oilers general manager. I can guarantee you're not going to want to go back to being an agent. I can assume that you're going to want to continue to be an NHL GM, which is why you became an NHL GM, not just to help out Connor McDavid, not just to be the GM of the Edmonton Oilers. So contract year for you is you need to do your absolute best and have physical, tangible evidence that you have done your best to put this team in a position to win and in a much better position, whether it's signing players, trading players, whatever it is, in order for you to get a general manager job that you would want, that's worth taking in the NHL come summertime, because there may not be one for you. This is a really bad, just a really bad series of fuck ups. And I'm not saying they're all on Ken Holland. A lot of it was done well before him, well before 2019 when he got there. It's just a lot of first round fucking mishandles. This is where we are. But they're a fucking dumpster fire. And for a team who had legitimate Stanley Cup aspirations from a fan base that will fucking slit your throat if you don't perform the way they want you to perform, they are not performing. They are gushing blood from their carotid, and
I mean, they're not even going to make the playoffs right now.
Yeah. We'll have to see. That's the thing. Everyone goes, "Oh, it's so early." Well, come American Thanksgiving in a week, if they're not in a playoff position, they most likely will not. Statistics show they will not be in the playoffs come that. And just to add insult to injury, Draisaitl's getting fined left and right $5,000 for fucking dangerous trips. I don't think the culture is good in that locker room either. Why is Draisaitl taking stupid tripping penalties and getting fined $5,000? That's not like him. He doesn't do shit like that. I think it's a really bad. I think it's a really bad attitudes. I think it's really negative in that locker room right now, and I think they got to figure it out. So, Spencer, anything else on the Oilers?
No, sir. They suck.
What do they take care of first? They have to figure out goaltending first, right? Fucking Soupy's done. I mean, that was a fucking waste.
That was a failed experiment. They've got to get a goalie in there. I don't know how they do it with the money they've got. They've got to trade somebody out and bring somebody in, but that's where they've got to start. Because Stuart Skinner ain't it either.
No, he's not. But that's the Edmonton Oilers, the dumpster fire that is the Edmonton Oilers. In other NHL news, some big news. Buffalo, who is currently 7-8-1, second to last in the Atlantic, cannot catch a break. Tage Thompson, their number one star, was placed on injured reserve and is going to miss significant time in an upper body injury sustained in a 5-2 loss to the Bruins. He just blocked a shot and then hunched over and continued to hunch over, and then left and got examined. Shitty game for him as well, because before that he was also cut by a skate. I think it was McAvoy cut him by a skate in the same game, but he ended up being fine. He ended up getting stitched up and being fine after that one. But after getting cut by the skate, he blocks a shot, hunches over, leaves, and then now is said to he is going to miss significant time. So that's just a double whammy on Buffalo, who a lot of people, including myself, had them in the playoffs as a wild card, and now they are a week away from statistically not having a very good shot at being in it. What's your take on Buffalo?
So I actually watched that game before I left for my men's league game last night. And it was interesting because I saw the ankle incident and I was like, oh shit, Tage is hurt. And I come back and we're talking about it. And then I come back and I see something about his hand. But I did read right before we jumped on, they only think he's going to miss about a month and a half. So they're not thinking it's going to be as significant as they thought. But I think this opens up an opportunity to bring in, a hometown boy to fill in a spot that they need. Not mentioning any names.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there. Hey, fuck it. Let's just move right on. Well, we'll just take that into that. So Patrick Kane has begun to speak with NHL teams. His agent said the teams he is speaking to now are teams that he is seriously considering joining. And Pat Brisson, his agent, said there's no direction as far as Eastern Conference, Western Conference, but he is speaking with about 8 teams for a late November, early December return. So more than likely than not, within the next few days, over the weekend, Monday, Tuesday, we will know where Patrick Kane is going to sign. He's not going to sign in Buffalo because he is not going to go to a team that's 7-8-1 and last in the Atlantic. If Buffalo was in first in the Atlantic. They were battling with Buffalo, or they were battling with Boston. They were battling with Toronto. Or if they were just in the mix in the Atlantic, I think there might be a better chance of him going there. He's not going to Buffalo at the end of his career when they're 7-8-1 and second to last in the Atlantic, Spencer. You're fucking nuts.
That's where I'm putting him. Or, I mean, he was seen in Toronto last week, too. That would be another great spot for him. Him and Matthews on the same line. But, no, I like him in Buffalo.
Here's my thing with Toronto. You always say, what's the point of adding him? Before you even thought about adding him, you had a Stanley Cup team, right? Like, everyone said, oh, this is the team. This is the team. They're so fucking stacked. Well, what's adding Patrick Kane going to do? We saw it with Boston last year. It didn't work. Adding Bertuzzi and adding all those pieces right at the end when they were already fucking the President's Cup with the best team ever in the NHL didn't do shit. So it's like, what does adding Patrick Kane to that lineup really do for Toronto when offense isn't their problem?
Second power play. It just adds another element. It adds another scorer. It adds it takes a little pressure off Marner in the playoffs, who disappears. All those things.
It's the same, but it's the same for Boston. People are saying Boston was fine in Boston, but it's like, I don't think Boston has the cap room. And if it's the same as Toronto, if Boston signs him, what does that do for Boston? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's I don't think he's a good fit in Boston. Listen, I've got no clue where he's going to end up, but Toronto doesn't.
He's a good fit in Boston. I don't know. I like Buffalo, but yeah, they're bad. I don't think
Buffalo would have been fun had they been good.
But yeah,
I mean, Buffalo would have been fun had they been good, but they're not good. And so it's like, what are the other options? I mean, I'll just throw it out there. Dallas is an option. They're a team looking to add one or two pieces to kind of put them over the hump. They are looking really, really solid right now. Colorado's an option. Colorado seems to be always an option for people. Always an option. I don't know how they have the cap room. I don't know what they do it, but they have the cap room because Landeskog is on long-term IR.
Yeah.
And then if he comes back, they're not going to have to fuck with that. That could be a Tampa Bay situation. So there's 8 teams is a lot to think about. So who fucking knows? But I just don't think it's going to be Buffalo. I think there's a lot of people in Buffalo that were like, damn, if we were just like not even 7-8-1, even just like 10-4-1 or something like that, like 9-5-1, just above 500 in the mix. I think Buffalo would be in the mix, but I just think based on being second to last in the Atlantic with a week left before American Thanksgiving, I don't think that's an option for Patrick Kane. Now, what are some options for the NHL 3-on-3 overtime? They are heavily considering making some changes to the 3-on-3 overtime. I guess the NHL's issue with it is that it has had the opposite effect of what it had when it started, which I could agree with. They said it's actually slowed down when the whole point of adding the 3-on-3 element or keeping it 3-on-3 was to have the game speed up. Teams have caught on to strategy, obviously, over 10, 12 years of playing 3-on-3 overtime since that's how old we are. They've been doing 3-on-3 overtime for about 10 years now, Spencer, if not longer. But teams have caught on to the strategy as far as regrouping it. What it turns into, and this, I don't mind it because I play it and I play it at a pretty high level, and I understand how it works at that level. It turns into a roller hockey game. It turns into which roller hockey is very similar to soccer in how regroups work, right? Roller hockey, especially higher levels of roller hockey, if there's no offensive options, you don't force anything. You send it all the way back down and you regroup, right? Because it's supposed to be man on man, and eventually somebody will lose their guy and people will get open. So NHL 3-on-3 has kind of turned into roller hockey in that sense. Is when there's no options entering the zone, you will see these defensemen skate all the way back down. It's sometimes behind their own net, reset up an entirely different entry, right? And then try to attack it from there. So they're saying it's slowing it down. They're saying the point of the 3-on-3 overtime was to limit the amount of shootouts that happen during an NHL season. They're saying they're seeing too many shootouts. They don't want to see shootouts. They want it ended with hockey, which I can completely agree with. My only thing is you tell me if I'm wrong, the only rule they're really thinking about considering right now that would make a change to any of this is basically a half-court rule. So meaning once you cross the red line, once all of your players cross the red line offensively with the puck, you cannot you can't regroup past that said red line again unless there's been a change of possession with the other team. So what do you actually think that would speed it up, Spencer, or do you think that we would continue to see the same thing over and over?
So I think that would speed it up. I think the red line is probably too close of an area. I think once you get out of your zone, so the neutral zone, it's your blue line that you can't cross, so you can at least regroup in the neutral zone and go back in. Not a huge difference, but yeah, I mean, yeah, because you kind of see that they throw it back to their goalie, they just throw it back into their zone, and they hold it so they can change and get another two guys out. So I would like to see something that kind of keeps the play moving and kind of keeps everybody engaged. So if that's not allowing them to go back into their defensive zone once they're out of it, I'm for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's to be honest, I don't see a point in. To me, shootouts don't happen that often anymore. I think we see the game ended in 3-on-3 more often than not. I don't see a point in really forcing a change when there's really no heavy statistics that say it's trending upward as far as games not ending earlier. I think what the NHL is just mad at is that teams have caught on and got smart and have slowed the pace of the way the 3-on-3 is played. It doesn't mean that goals aren't scored, and it doesn't mean games aren't finished. It just means games may finish in the last minute or second minute rather than the first minute or two, which is what the NHL wants. The NHL wants a 3-on-3 overtime to end with 30 seconds in, a minute in, 2 minutes in. They don't want to see goals with 45 seconds left, a minute and a half, 2 minutes left in overtime, where these overtimes are dragging out, and you're seeing multiple kind of line they don't want to see multiple line combinations in an overtime period. They just want to see the same 3, maybe 6 guys for both teams and have it end quick. So that could be the only, whatever. I don't see a big problem with it, but if you're going to change it, I guess change it that way and just make it to where teams can't regroup as far or as often. But again, teams will just catch on to a new strategy 5 years down the road with whatever they change in this. So it's like, why don't we just keep it 3-on-3? It is what it is. If you really want to end it, take shootouts out, just fucking take shootouts out, right? Or do a 10-minute overtime where the first 5 is 3-on-3 and then the second 5 is 2-on-2. Or, you know what I mean? That would end the game even quicker. So if you're going to change something like that, but I don't think it's that necessary. But just a few other things to cover here. Spencer, we've been going back and forth. You and I have been sending each other different jersey drops from different teams across several leagues. Some of these jerseys are awesome, and we have to talk about a certain league's jersey release that need to be put in the gulag for. But first, the West Point, the West Point Army ones, like the all tan with the white trim and the white helmets, those are filthy. Those are fire.
Those are so clean.
Yeah, those were just so classy and so United States military. The Hurricanes Whalers white with the green Cooperalls, which they're just going to do the Cooperalls for warm-ups, but they should fucking wear them for a game. But the Cooperalls, they're so pretty. So pretty. You said they were too roller hockey, but I thought they were fucking fantastic. The UNLV, the ACHA D1 UNLV with the black with the red like drip down, like, oh my god, I would have killed to wear those. Those were fucking unreal. And then we just think about all black uniforms like that with drippy socks too. So Veronica Vaughn. So hot. Want to touch the hiney. And then this is what we have to talk about. You sent me one earlier today. Was it Appalachian State? The little guy was smoking a pipe.
Yeah, with the corn cob pipe. That was so cool. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the corn cob pipe. Yeah. Those are sick. Shout out App State for those. Listen, I'm just going to say it. The PWHL, fucking shame on you. Shame on you, PWHL. You've done so well for yourself with marketing and the draft and getting this league going, and you just drop poop for jerseys. Poop is raining from the sky, Spencer. Poop. They marketed these. Goddamn, the PWHL fucked these jerseys up so bad. They marketed them as in like going back to our roots, so like old school kind of like vibes, you know what I mean? Like heritage kind of vibes. They look like fucking practice jerseys. They look like fucking practice jerseys. Like the three ice league, who just had plain color Verbero jerseys with like basically no logos, looked better than these jerseys. Like the lettering looks off. They look stitched wrong. The jerseys for the PWHL are fucking atrocious, and the league should be ashamed that that's what they came up with for the first year. Spencer, you go. I don't even want to think about these. What do you have to say about these?
It literally looks like something like they put no effort. There's like, well, let's just put the city names on a jersey with some colors and we'll be done. Like, they have no logos. They have no nothing. They are the most boring.
There's no logo. There's no mascot. Yeah, it's just names. It's just city names, either diagonally or horizontally. Just the most bland, boring colors. Like, it's just dumb. It's just they just dropped the ball so hard on something they could have done so cool. They could have done this so much better for their first season, and they fucked this up so hard.
Yeah, they're gonna need to
so hard. It's just why not do something? Just why not make it a spectacle year one? Why do you have to try to be? Fuck, no one wants to go watch a hockey game with those. No one's going to buy those jerseys. Those jerseys fucking suck. No one's going to put money into fucking spending money to buy one of those jerseys. If Dallas had a PWHL franchise, and that was the jersey, I wouldn't fucking buy one. That's shitty. That's shitty for those fans to have to go spend $100 on a jersey that looks like fucking a practice jersey. So PWHL, fucking jerseys suck, man. Figure it out. Fire whoever made those. Probably a woman.
Oh dear.
I had to. No one's gonna say that if they would have had a man make all these jerseys, they would have been really cool.
Anyways,
I am obviously kidding. Obviously kidding. That is complete comedic sake. Being super sarcastic and ironic for all you idiots out there who would think otherwise. But yeah, they just dropped the ball on that. Not too much. Anything else to talk about? We've got some small news. So Kyle Okposo and Ryan O'Reilly both celebrated their 1,000 game in the NHL. So congrats to those guys. Kyle Okposo. Yeah, it's just one of those guys. He flies under the radar on how long he's been in the league and just how much of a staple in lineups he is, and just how much of an anchor in the locker rooms he goes to are. So shout out to him for that. And Ryan O'Reilly, obviously, Ryan O'Reilly seems like he played 1,000 games ago. Like it seems like he's already reached that milestone 5 times. But yep, so 1,000 games for both Okposo and Ryan O'Reilly. So shout out to them. And then last thing. Spencer, you sent me this. I saw this. I think everybody's seen this. We're going to shout out the TCU ACHA hockey team as they beat Mason's Houston team 36-0. Yes, Spencer. Yes, 36-0. So real quick, story time before we hop off. This reminds me. Do you remember this story from a couple years ago, Spencer, with the Barracudas team that I played for? Do you remember the Houston debacle? Do you remember me telling you guys about this whole Houston fraud hockey team debacle?
Yeah.
Okay. So we were playing in a league. We were playing in an independent league. We left this independent league because our owner wanted to join this new independent league that was going to be really just Southern teams. We weren't going to have to travel as far, all that good stuff, whatever, right? So our first exhibition series in this new league was supposed to be against the, I think it was called the Houston Wildcatters. So it's like their logo is like an oil driller, right? It actually made sense. It's kind of a cool name, whatever. So, this exhibition weekend gets set up, 2 games, Friday night, Saturday night in Mansfield against us, Houston Wildcatters versus Mansfield Barracudas. When we asked for a roster from them, the owner of the team, sent a piece of notebook paper, handwritten with pencil, names and numbers of guys. Okay, no birth dates, no birth dates, no heights, no weights, no previous teams, nothing. Just names, first name, last name, number, in pencil on a piece of notebook paper. Okay, so I go look up, try to elite prospect some of these guys. No, there's no Hockey DB elite prospects for any of these guys' names on this list, right? It's like, okay, what the fuck is this? So this exhibition weekend was supposed to be played in Mansfield, but it was supposed to be hosted by them, really. So it was Houston's. We were already established, right? So it was supposed to be Houston's exhibition weekend. They were just having it at our home rink, okay? So we show up for the game, okay? There are no refs, okay? So we also come to realize the owner of this Houston team is also the owner of the league. Okay, so conflict of interest there. He owns the league, also owns the Houston team. He did not schedule refs. He also, upon us getting to the rink, asked us if there were any of our friends that we could text to play for them that night because they were going to be shorthanded. Okay, so now he's hawking the phones, the beer league line phones across DFW to try to find players to play for their team. This is an hour and a half before puck drop. Hour and a half. So he's calling guys that are just got off work saying, hey, can you play a semi-professional, full checking, full fighting hockey game tonight in an hour and a half against a very good team, right? So obviously he got some takers because there's some guys around the Metroplex that don't like us, think they could play, whatever it is, right? So they filled a team. This guy reffed, okay? This guy reffed the game because he did not schedule refs, okay? Not only did he ref, I can't make this shit up. I can't. This is a sanctioned, fully sanctioned game, right? Not only did this guy ref, he didn't have a reffing jersey, so he went to the Academy Sports that's next door to the rink, got a football reffing jersey, wore a black long sleeve T-shirt underneath the football reffing jersey, was in cargo shorts and hockey skates and a helmet, and had a whistle, and reffed a semi-pro hockey game with 300 fans there, 300 people there to watch a semi-pro hockey game. We beat them 26-0. It was 8-0 after the first period. It was so bad. Their goalie by the end of the game was doing the Mighty Ducks thing where like you would come down on him and he would just flop on purpose, like take the net. Like here you go.
My goodness.
It gets better. So the second night, I think we beat them 24-2 or something like that. They got some guys to show up from Houston and managed to score two. But 26-0 and 24-2. Now, come to find out, this gets better. After the game, after the weekend, we as players were obviously like, "What the fuck is this? We're not playing it. This is the league. We're not playing in it." If you know what I mean. So this guy is wanted for fraud. I'm sure he's still wanted for fraud. So in Michigan. So while he was setting this hockey league up in Texas, he tried to run a hockey league in Michigan, had a tryout for everybody, was going to place guys on teams, blah, 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 charge guys $150 for the tryout, had a bunch of people show up for this tryout, took the money and ran. So made flyers for this hockey league that he was starting in Michigan on a show up. We'll evaluate you as like ownership groups, and then we'll place you. We'll do captains, and then we'll have a draft, and then like we'll draft the teams or whatever. $150. He just took everybody's money and left. Did the same thing. Heard he did the same thing for a baseball league in Michigan too. Tried to run an independent baseball league. Did a bunch of tryouts in different areas. Took a bunch of people's money and left. And then tried to do the same thing down here. But at least our owner, who, whatever issues he had running hockey teams, at least he had the notion to be like, well, let's do a test weekend first, run by you to see how this works, and then we'll go from there. And so luckily it got sniffed out pretty quick that this guy was a fucking fraud, and we had to get out of that situation. But yeah, so that's the only other 36-0 from TCU. Other than that, I've never really seen scores in hockey games get that high before. That's a clear gap in just overall skill because these kids are all the same age. That's just where have these kids on the new Houston team, on this new club team, that they never played actual organized? Like, are they just like kids that played like 16UA back in the day. They haven't played travel ever, like because it doesn't. No knock to club hockey, but to just create a decent club hockey team to win a few games out of a season, it doesn't take much. You know what I mean? Like there's good hockey players everywhere. So how do you lose a game 36-0, Spencer?
So I did do a little digging into this, and from what it sounds like, they did show up with 2 goalies and 9 players. So,
okay,
what are you gonna do?
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So that makes sense because I coached 14U and we lost a game this season 20-0. And you sit there and go, how the fuck do you lose a game? Well, the league that we play in, we're at the bottom as far as tier of skill in our league. The discrepancy between the bottom where we are and the top teams is very, very big. So the top teams in the league that we play in are AAA caliber. They some of them will play AAA tournaments. They don't do very well, but they will at least play in AAA tournaments. They have AAA caliber kids that are on bubbles for AAA teams every year. The bottom where we're at is kind of like there's not that caliber, right? So when you play those teams with a full lineup, it can get upward, it can get 12-0, 14-2, that kind of thing. Well, I played one of those teams with one defenseman because one was hurt, one was suspended, one was out of town. I had to play 3 forwards at defense. So just automatically there's no defense is going to happen whatsoever against a team that's already going to score 12 goals with a full lineup. Then that makes my forwards diminish to 2 lines. So I played the team with 2 lines and 4D, 3 of which were forwards. It's just not good for numbers can play a part. So, and especially club hockey, we've seen teams show up with 2 lines and 3D and a goalie, and you're like, this isn't going to be good. So, Houston, you just may need to have some player contracts and have your boys show up to the game, eh? I mean, you can't be trying to play teams with fucking 9 guys. But nonetheless, TCU 36-0. So there it is. Spencer, you got anything else? Are we good?
I'll see you in Orlando.
Yeah, I feel like shit. So I'm gonna go pound steroids. I'm supposed to play in a roller tournament this weekend for the La Beta Chupacabra. So we'll see if I'm able to make it to that. They're supposed to release the schedule today. So I'm gonna go take a bunch of drugs, try to feel better, and yeah, I will see you in fucking Orlando. We will be swinging the sticks. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Awesome. And I don't have to work this week. I'm off work this entire week, so I don't have to work and think about not working while I don't work. And I just get to not work and then go on a golf trip. Yeah, fuck you. Exactly. Eat me. So there's that. That's the Flow Skate podcast. So we'll catch you next time. We'll see. I think Spencer, I am going to try to do this for the fans. One of the courses, I am going to bring the mics tent. One of the days, some simple golf content. But yeah, so for the fans, for the Flow Skate fans, under the lights, we might have some Flow Skate golf content coming your way here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. And then we have decided, come springtime, we will be doing some apparel. We'll be doing some t-shirts and some hoodies and some hats. So we'll be doing some apparel come springtime. I'm currently working out the kinks for that. So some big things on the rise for the Flow Skate. So that is the Flow Skate. Code Flow Skate gets you 15% off Phoenix Fit, all the apparel, all the protein, everything to get jacked. Polar Recovery, shout out to Polar Recovery, Flow Skate, use referral code Flow Skate for them as well. And that is all. Episode 23 is in the books. Say bye to the fans, Spencer.
See ya.